Aloha, I'm Scott Startzman. The Oahu real estate market stats for April 2020 are out. We're seeing the first effects of COVID in the marketplace. There's some really interesting data going on. I'll give you my predictions on what's going to happen going forward. We'll talk about that next. Okay, I'm Scott Startzman. Let's dive right into the stats. So what we have here is single-family home sales for the island of Oahu. This is April 2020's numbers right here versus April 2019's numbers here, and the percentage difference. There was some of the numbers to be expected and then a few shockers, so I'll get into the what and the why. So we'll start off with number of closed sales to be expected. Closed sales are down 22% from the same time last year. We shut down the economy in March. We went from 2 to 3% unemployment rate for the state to 35% unemployment. So you would definitely expect the number of sales to slow down. The interesting thing is our median sales price for this past month for single family homes went up 5.5%. Our median sales price right now is $809,000. Complete shocker for me. Like, okay, we shut down the economy. Why would our price go up, especially by 5.5%? We also see median number of days on market drop to 19 from 25 days last year. That's a 24% drop, meaning if you brought your home on the market in April of 2020, you would expect to sell it faster than you would have if you brought it on the market in April of 2019. That makes no sense to me either. When you shut down the economy, you would expect things to slow down and it would take longer. It actually sped up. Why is that? We go back basically to your first year college economics class, supply demand. And so if we look down here at number of new listings, our new listings are off 45%, meaning people bringing their homes on the market. The number of new listings dropped 45%. Well, closed sales was only down 22%. And the pending sales, which is new escrows right now, is only off 7.3%. So essentially what happened was when we shut down the economy, we shut it down for health and safety reasons. In doing so, sellers kind of looked at themselves and said, okay, if we don't have to sell, we're not going to sell. Not right now. Let's take a pause. And they didn't want strangers in their home. If you have either kids or yourself or an older family member that has maybe some health issues, you didn't want strangers in your home and take that risk. So thus we saw a 45% decrease in the number of new listings. The interesting thing too, though, is while the stock market started to go down dramatically, that lowered mortgage interest rates by about a percentage and a half. So people's borrowing power or buying power increased and got better. So if someone was going to take a $500,000 mortgage and they were buying now versus buying 3 months ago, they're actually going to save about $300 to $400 per month on their mortgage payment. So the buying side got to be more attractive solely from a monthly payment standpoint. We did expect the number of buyers to decrease, but what ended up happening in the numbers is the number of buyers willing to buy did not decrease by the same amount as the number of new listings come on the market. So if you look at it this way, there are 100 listings or 100 people looking to sell and 100 buyers in the market, and then COVID hits. Now there's 50 new listings coming on the market, but the number of buyers only dropped to 75 because of mortgage interest rates and willingness to buy. Now you've created more of an imbalance between the number of buyers and the number of sellers to a greater degree than where we were before. And you see that in the months of inventory remaining and the number of active listings. So the active listings dropped 25% active inventory. And we went from 3.5 months of inventory down to 2.5 months of inventory. So that's almost a 30% drop in the amount of inventory or months of inventory remaining. So what do those numbers mean? A balanced market is 6 months of inventory. If you have, that's equal number of buyers and sellers in the market, that's a balanced market, price shouldn't change. If you're at 3.5 months of inventory, that's restricted supply. That's more buyers in the market than sellers, and this should yield about a 5% price appreciation, somewhere between 3 and 5%, which is exactly what we were hitting for the last 5 years, and that's along our historic 35-year average of 4.5% roughly. Now you get to this point, we're at 2.5 months of inventory, which is even more restricted inventory, less available homes compared to the number of buyers in the market, which thus ended up causing the 5.5% price appreciation. Okay, let's look at a neighborhood, for example, to understand a little bit about what's going on in the marketplace as well. So this is Ewa Plain, the Ewa Plain area, which is going to be a pretty popular area. Single family homes, April 2019 versus April 2020, and the percentage change. These numbers were really interesting and shocking to look at. If you look at the number of new listings coming on the market, they're off 44%, which is right along what our island-wide stats were saying. Closed sales, however, only were off 8% from the same month last year, April 2019. That's not much of a drop, especially considering that there was 44% less listings coming on the market. So what you saw was a 7% increase in the price in the Ewa Plain area, and the list to sales price ratio, meaning whatever you bring the home on the market for, as a seller, you should expect to be able to sell it for. Last year was 98.5%. This year, 2020, in April, 100%. What sellers were putting their home on the market for, market value, was selling right at that price point. The median number of days on market, meaning if you brought your home on the market, how quickly you should expect it to go into escrow, was 28 days last year, now 12 days for April 2020. That's a 57% decrease in the number of days on market. And the inventory of homes for sale, there were 263 homes for sale on the market in 2019. In April 2020, only 164. So way fewer number of sellers on the market and almost an equal number of buyers in the market compared to 2019. Thus, an increase in the sales price by 7% in Ewa Beach. Okay, to summarize real quick, COVID has had an effect on the marketplace, but not quite what I expected. Decrease in number of sales, yes. Decrease in the number of listings, I expected some of that. But I didn't expect an increase in the price, and I didn't expect median days on market to decrease like it did, and to have more restricted supply. I actually thought we would have had more supply coming on the market, but we've actually gone in the opposite direction. So what is my prediction going forward? I actually think we will have more inventory coming on the market. We shut down the economy in March. We did a stay at home, and the state implemented a 14-day quarantine for anyone coming to Oahu from either the outer islands or out of the state in general, which means you come here, you have to sit in your hotel room or wherever you're staying for 14 days before you can go out and do anything else. So we've had 1 to 3 new cases per day in the entire state for like the last 2 weeks. So the state and the mayor here have started to move to open up the economy again. Beaches are open, retail shops are opening up now. They're going to look to move towards restaurants and various other items here shortly. So what that's saying is, hey, sellers, it's safe now to be able to come on the market. Now, we still do that, showings and things in a restricted capacity, no open houses. But I'm working with 3 to 4 clients right now that we're trying to come on the market here in the next 2 to 4 weeks to bring their homes on the market. So I do think you're going to see more sellers willing to come on the market. And I don't think the buyer pool is really going to grow because mortgage interest rates dropped to historic lows a month ago. And that would have brought the buyers in at that point. It's not like we're going to have an increase in the buyers on that capacity. The only other way would be if, someone from off island is going to be coming here, and that quarantine restriction is still going to be in place at least through probably July, maybe part of August. And then there's going to be some kind of restriction in some capacity on how they allow tourists to come back in. So I do think the inventory will actually go the other direction, and we'll see more inventory, which also should mean a little bit longer days on market. And I don't think we'll see the price increase that we've been having. Price increase of 5.5% in what's going on is really surprising. I'm not saying that prices will decrease. We may get back to a kind of a sideways or a very moderate growth portion of the economy right now. The longer this takes to shake out, the longer it takes to be able to get back to normal and not have restrictions in how we operate within our economy, the more effect it will have on not only the economic marketplace, but the real estate marketplace. And in doing so, if this shakes, if we have a second wave of things, and it will significantly affect the marketplace and prices at that point. If we don't, and we're able to kind of get back to a sense of normalcy sometime after August, then there's going to be a very limited effect on this marketplace. In fact, we might be in the exact same position around August, September that we are right now. If we do get the second wave, or there's significant restrictions on people being able to come here and that drags out for a while, then it's going to have an impact on the economy and it should have an impact on prices. So we'll have to see what the next 2 months worth of stats show us and the trends that come out.